Y'all ready for this?
Welcome, guys, to a BetOnDrew $100 free roll. It's Sunday, and today at the final table, I have fellow BODer, John, otherwise known as Yes I'm Big. Hello, John.
Hey, Focused. How you doing, man? I'm also Drew Peacock as well. I almost made this final table, but unfortunately fell a little bit short.
So, how was the journey through the free roll? What did you notice about the other fellow BODers?
You know what? Everybody that's playing this tournament, it's really nice. Everybody's real friendly. There's a lot of camaraderie and joking at the tables. So, I'm happy to see everyone who's at this final table and everyone who's participated. It's turned out to be a real nice success.
Sweet. It's kind of funny because I remember last night the number was around like 40 people. And I turned on to the lobby after I got home from church and groceries and whatnot, and I saw 142 people, and I thought I must have saw something wrong, or I'm in the wrong free roll, but I'm like, wow, what's going on here?
Yeah, well, how do you think I felt when I woke up this morning to, check on the site, and I saw that I had over 70 emails of, new users interested in the free roll, and it's been getting a lot of action, a lot of attention, and I'm really happy everyone's enjoying it. Everybody's signing up, checking out the forums, and everybody loves the site, so things are going well. I'm happy that we could put this free roll together for everyone that's a part of it.
Definitely. It looks exciting. So I haven't been through the whole free roll process today myself. I was out and about, but at the final table, do you recognize any of the names or any of the opponents you might have played against, or what's your thoughts on each player that you see?
Well, you know what? I have the table prior to me busting when I was on it. 99 Joe Mama, she was there. Sea Eyes was there, and Ashley was there. Ashley 5178. So I'm pretty familiar with them. Actually, Joe Mama had taken a bit of my chips, and they were on the bubble for a while, so they really clawed back. And Ashley has been slowly building a stack this whole time too. I'm not familiar with. Oh, and actually, Coco Moons was on my table as well, and they had borrowed a few chips that I never got back.
Well, I guess it's good for a worthy cause, right? You're trying to promote the site, and good to have other members on to the final table.
Exactly. The site is really, my direction with it is really just to have a nice community driven solely for poker players. As you can see, I'm not really trying to get too involved with it. I just want to accommodate, we've got the tunes on there, we've got the Twitter, you can be anyone as long as you're passionate about the game. You can be part of the site and get your tweets shown, or, post in the forums, your name is posted, all the players, you're not a number, you're a name on the site. So everyone's responding well. I'm really excited about it.
Well, that's good. That's good. And if you were to be a number, you'd be number one, right?
Yeah. Or number infinity.
Number infinity. There you go. To be determined, right?
Yep.
So, at first glance, prior to the final table, I actually had table one up, and Ashley was on it, and she seems pretty proficient and quite aware of the final table bubble dynamics. Is that your opinion of her as well, or?
Well, I know going up to the final table bubble and getting into the money, they were definitely seeing a lot of hands, and they had stacked up this one hand. I forget exactly how it had gone. I had turned to look at another table, and then I turned around, and they were up to 50K from like 20-some K, because they were around my stack size the whole time until I busted. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, look at this play we have here. We got a three-way all-in potentially here.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yep, CI's turns that set with the open-ender.
Yep. And you're not going to get away from that when your CI's on the flop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. But, well played game by A-Corps. A-Corps, thanks for playing. Good game.
Yep. And look, there's Commander right there. They say it's a good game and so forth, and that's good.
Yeah, things have been really well with this. It's a shame that you couldn't make it. Maybe next time you'll be able to make it, huh?
Yeah. I was thinking maybe to accommodate me in a sense, but also to accommodate the BOD members and BOD squad. I was thinking something that maybe kind of let's see, like maybe doing a bounty on myself, so to speak. So
Hmm.
that'd be kind of interesting, like a tournament later on in Sunday. Like,
Yeah, a few of the players that I've been talking to on the table, I was pretty active in chat, which I normally am not, but they had mentioned, is there a bounty on you? And I was like, you know what, not today, but I think that's a good idea for a couple of us, BetOnDrew admin guys who do some of the things behind the scenes for all of our players.
right, right.
It would be nice to have a little bounty tournament, which I've written down and is in part of my plans. We'll see if we can mix it in with everything else that's going on. But great idea. So I love all the ideas that are coming in from all the different players as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I believe the forums is starting to pick up some speed too, or some steam as well, right? It looks like people are posting more in the forums and trying to get their ideas across as well.
Yep, everybody's responding really well. And I mean, to be honest, I had messed with running a website a while ago and never really was too passionate about it. And then after playing and playing, it really just hit me. And I really like the direction that the site is going. I think everybody's taking to it the way I had wanted. They feel like a part of it.
Hmm.
So it's really good. I'm excited and happy to see everyone at this final table. It looks like everyone, for the most part right now, is playing decently tight right now. Everyone's pretty deep. What do you think?
I think everybody's doing pretty well. They're very observant of opening and folding and all that good stuff. They're not exactly limping and just throwing away chips. So I think for the most part, their front table is deserved to be here, so to speak. I mean, I can't account for all the suckouts out there, but and the bad beats. But for the most part, they seem pretty proficient. Yeah. So let's start commentating on some action, shall we?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it looks like we got three-way action. The flop is pretty dry. 10-7-4 rainbow. We got two checks, and the person on the button, Radman, I think I recognize him. He has a different name, doesn't he? That is same name.
I'm not sure, but they limped on the button here, so this is an interesting play.
Yeah.
Being semi-short stacked,
Yeah.
limp, and then they min bet and get through at a very dry board, which I think you could do with that spot. It could be fishy sometimes when people limp on the button.
Hmm.
But we got an all in here.
Yeah, Jersey Time decides to get it in. About seven big blinds. So let's see.
They were chip leader, I know, for a while there. They
really?
They had about like 50K, I think, at one point. They were really cruising, so somebody must have knocked them down a couple pegs. I didn't see the hand personally.
Mm. So nice little win without a showdown there.
Yep, a lot in the pot there pre-flop now.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got to really take advantage of that. So Ashley decides to limp under the gun +2, it looks like, or 3 rather. That's really sending alarm bells to me, actually. Could be a strong hand. It could be a small pocket pair. What do you think Ashley might have?
Well, from playing with Ashley at the other table before, I really don't see this as a sign of strength. I think Ashley has a wide limping range. She's probably just going to flat here.
Okay, she does.
Yep. So now
does this flop hit her range at all?
Definitely. And it's an interesting bet by her. She probably had an ace or a draw there. Nothing too strong.
Okay, so
Cause they're going to overprotect with that flush draw, I feel like, on that board.
Yeah, it looked kind of interesting because she bet like a third of the pot there. It was quickly checked to her, and she went ahead and fired. And she was actually not the one that initiated the raise pre-flop, right? It was, I believe, the big blind did that, correct?
It was a small blind. It was Coco
Okay.
Moons. And it's interesting that they would min raise out of position there and basically give up on the pot. So they probably shouldn't have raised in the first place. Maybe some middle pocket pair or something like that.
Right. And given the fact that it's about 25 big blinds or so, min raising there, you're really going to get called. And if you don't have an ace and that's an ace high flop, you check it, you're pretty much wasting money. Over here, we got some action here. We got ace queen versus jack 10.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That was
that was a real heart stop and go. I didn't even realize that 3/8 had come out on that river. I just saw the flush hit.
Yeah, me too. And then I realized, wait a minute, 0% on the left-hand side, and okay. So.
Oh, man. That's crazy, but that's it's another one gone there. We're down to 8 pretty fast here, I think, for how slow the bubble went, especially.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Usually with free rolls, when the bubble is around, people just go ahead and just get it in, or there shortly after.
Definitely. And another good thing I'd like to note about the free roll here is the structure has been great. I mean, we're on 3.5 hours with 140 some people. This is a pretty standard tournament, regardless of it being free money. So there's a lot of play. It's a lot of fun to play in. It's not like a turbo, and it's not an all-in fest necessarily.
Okay. And how often do you feel like you're going to run this free roll, John?
It's definitely going to run at least once a month. We may add some different things to it, maybe a bounty, and taking in suggestions. I know a few folks had some ideas, and I had directed them to go to the forums, and there's a thread there about website. So a few people have gone there, and we'll see what other good ideas. Everybody's got some good ideas.
Yeah, it's an interesting hand. That last hand, the ace king versus ace 10. The ace hits the river, and I believe CI is just flats there.
Mm-hmm.
Radman value bets the river. With ace 10, would you have re-raised or raised rather Radman's bet on the river, or would you have just flatted there?
You know what? I would have flatted as well. I think the flat is a nice flat, considering you have a good hand with some showdown value. But then again, if Radman, if they raise and then Radman raises, now you're put in a tough position.
Right, exactly. Especially because that board didn't go to your favor until the end, the river, and really, you really don't like your ace if you get popped back. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the flat is definitely the smart play. And then we just saw Jersey time here double up.
So it might be time in Jersey to double up again, I guess. Okay, a pot size bet by CI, and let's see.
Now, with this pot size bet on such a dry board, I mean, I'm not putting CIs on a weak hand at all. This is probably a super strong hand. They probably are afraid of maybe some odd straight draw. They hit an odd two pair. 6-5, I think, since they limped pre-flop. Sounds like it makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because sometimes people play, in my opinion, like you hit a strong two pair, but yet you're trying to fold everybody out that, with that big side pot size bet. But you rather would, in my opinion, I would actually bet in a way that the person would either raise over or call, because you have a strong hand, in my opinion, in that situation. Yeah. Instead of trying to blow people away, because the only person that's going to shove over you can have a pocket pair, like pocket tens, and then you're crushed, right? So
Exactly. Yeah, it's tough. I'd say, I might take a more aggressive line if it was maybe a 4 or 5-handed 5-way pot, with some other folks in it, because then it can get tricky. Mm-hmm. But, right there with just a couple of folks, they might have been able to get some more value out of it there, because Radman probably was on some high cards. Yeah, they had a 10, I think they can call there, and then CIs might get paid off. But just like you said, hands typically that are going to call you there are going to be putting you in a tough position.
Yeah, exactly. But for the most part, it seems like everybody's doing pretty well. So Jersey time min raises under the gun +3. And let's see here. We get a flat by Joe Mama. What do you think?
Yep, I think we're going to be getting our chips in here. Oh, nope. Well, from experience, last time Joe Mama had flatted me, because they were on my table for a while, they had pocket jacks, and they played it real slow on a dry board.
Okay.
So I do know that they're capable of flatting with a big hand behind, even though they're short stacked, because they were short stacked then, too.
Yeah, I don't really like, to be honest, I don't like flatting with such a short stack in that situation unless you're trying to slow play a monster like you were saying. But mm-hmm. Me personally, I like to get that in versus flatting. Yeah,
I think I agree there too, because Jersey time with the min raise, they're not really saying too much. Could be a strong hand, but I think Joe Mama was probably set mining with some sort of pair, trying to hit, and then gave up on the flop.
Right. I like set mining with stacks are equal and you have a deeper stacks, but when you're like short with pairs, I don't want to flat. I want to get it in.
Right. And set mining, for everyone listening who doesn't know, that's just basically, if you're calling in a spot, you have a pair in your hand and you really just want to hit. I mean, the only thing you're doing is looking to hit that pair, or hit that set with your pair.
Right, and hope to induce the other stack to commit, and you can get their stack.
Definitely.
Big overshow by CIs here. What do you think?
Wow. This is interesting. I'm not really sure what to think of this, because it's such a risky play. See?
Yeah.
Such a risky play at this board. And then again, this is what we were just talking about. Only hand that calls you here beats you.
Right. And I'm not a big fan of that at all. I like a bet to see where you're at. And especially if you get raised over, that 3 kicker is not any good. So I'd be folding to raise.
Exactly. And another thing I think to note there was only about 7K in that pot, and they risked 40K to win it, and then now they're out. So it's, they chose that aggressive line, and it didn't work out for them. I mean, that's poker.
Yep. Sometimes you have to go with your read, but sometimes I think the small ball approach, especially with the stack that can knock you out, it's a better line of thought there.
I agree. They had about 35 big blinds there, so really no reason to be trying to get it in with just one pair.
Right, but either way, congratulations on taking, what was that, 8th place?
Seventh place.
Yes.
CI. Oh, nope, you're right. CI's finished in 8th place. So nice job, CI's. Well played. Tough spot there.
And for y'all listening in that are fairly new to the game, we have John who does coaching as well. So if you feel inclined to ask about different MTT strategies, final table strategies, late stages strategies, so forth, so on, feel free to PM John at BetOnDrew.com. He'll be happy to accommodate you on that.
Yep. And again, for some newer folks, we may get caught up in our terminology, but PM is just on the site. Have a little, once you're logged in, you can private message folks, other members on the site, and you could just send me a message, or you can go to the coaching tab on the website if you're interested. My username on Merge that you'll become familiar with is Drew Peacock 8. So, and we have Focused Motion here on the line with us as well. And thanks for doing everything. Focused Motion's actually in charge of all the videos that are done for BetOnDrew, and he's done a great job. So if you have any video ideas or suggestions or comments, feel free to PM or private message him on the site as well.
Well, that being said, I actually bet about half pot with Ace King suit. I don't know if you saw that on a pretty dry board. I'm not quite sure how the action went down, but it looked like she just took it down, but then she showed what she had. Mm-hmm. Are you a big fan of doing that, showing your cards to people when they fold?
To be honest, I don't like showing my cards at all. I think the element of surprise and anticipation to know what I have when I'm playing is what'll get me a lot of calls, and then also, you remove that element of surprise as to how you're playing when you do that. I do think there are times when it's warranted to show your cards if you are, trying to make someone think you are bluffing, or you just have it works for certain player types. Not everyone, but it's got to be a good spot. I don't support doing it all the time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either, because the whole thing is poker is about misinformation, the game of misinformation. And so the more information you give your opponent, the better off they can read you. That's not something that I want my opponents to know.
Exactly.
So it looks like we are now 7-handed, and we have antes, of course, and Jersey time again min raises, actually insta shoves. What do you think going on here?
Wow, I think Ashley's probably got Ace King. Let's see. Nope, not going to show.
Yeah.
What do you think of that shove?
Well, it's kind of interesting because nobody behind her had a stack really to hurt her except for Radman. So I would put her on some sort of pair or maybe ace-king, ace-queen. But at the same time, that insta shove is so strong that, who's going to call you, really? I mean, I think Jersey time is starting to open up more, and min raising seems to be Jersey time's MO. Yeah. But if you think Jersey time is going to flat you pretty wide, then I'd like to do a 3-bet. I wouldn't like to do a shove like that because you're not going to get called.
Right. Even if they had a super strong hand, let's say maybe it was aces, if they 3-bet to an amount that Jersey time can still shove over the top, it might be a good way to get the rest of Jersey time's chips versus just hoping they call. Right.
In other words, you want to induce your opponent to do that, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
And it looks like we have an interesting situation here. Ashley decides to bet into the pot, and we get check raised by hate losing for the stacks. And
yep. 2 pair. There's the two pair over shove that we discussed earlier.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. I like a 3-bet, not a shove, because what's going to happen? You set up a shove on the turn if you want, but that's a pretty strong hand, I think, in that situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think also to consider is Ashley's presence and aggressiveness at the table. They might have been able to potentially, like you said, get some more money on the turn if they just check call.
Right, either check call or tiny 3-bet. I think would be either line to think about.
Right. I agree.
So it looks like what we have Okay, he's shocked there.
Joe Mama is, from what I'm seeing now, definitely all about trying to get value out of their hands. They're not. I don't think I've seen Joe Mama push all in once, to be honest. Even when they were short stacked, when they were short stacked on the bubble earlier, the money bubble, they had, like I said, flattered with jacks. Not raised in, and they're playing what I would call definitely tight in a sense, but it's working for them. They're down to the last 7 here, so props to her.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like Ashley limped UTG, which is under the gun, right here, basically right after the big line, and Radman decides to min raise to make it 2,400. Now, what do you think about that?
It seems like a pretty strong raise here, and now I'm definitely assuming both of these folks are coming along, and now they're checking pretty fast. Let's see how Radman handles this with a pretty drawy board.
A little bit over half pot bet by Radman. Looks like he's comfortable with his hand.
Mm-hmm. And Ashley must be on a draw here with the quick check in front.
Yeah, maybe Jack 10 or spades. What do you think?
I'm thinking it maybe a weak queen here. Let's see if they shove here. They probably nope, value bet. Interesting. Let's see how this goes down. Not really sure what to put Ashley on here now. They've been semi-aggressive, so I think with the check on the turn, Radman may have provoked this bet in front with anything.
It almost looks like a blocker bet to me on that river by Ashley. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a blocker bet could be good. They maybe had the queen, like a queen with no kicker, though. And then they got the check on the turn to the king. If they read through the play correctly, it seemed like Radman was probably afraid of the king when the king hit.
Right.
Maybe Radman with that min raise probably had some pocket pair that the board had beat.
Right. And I think Radman kind of gave up initiative, and so pretty much conceded the hand to Ashley. So, for those who don't know what blocker bet means, Sean, could you kind of explain blocker bet?
Yeah, a blocking bet is basically just a bet that you throw out, not necessarily assuming you have the best hand, but you want to see a showdown or see the river or see the turn, anything you want to bet out in front for, like Ashley did. They bet about $5,000 into that $20,000 pot. So yes, they could have went all in, but what the bet does is they minimize what they have to do. Their other option would be to check and then maybe call $10,000 or something like that. So they're really trying to minimize the amount of chips they throw in the pot.
Right, and
when you do a block bet. Yeah,
exactly. They're basically trying to freeze up your opponent so they don't. Basically, sometimes what will happen is your opponent will either fold or just call it. But when they're beat, obviously they're going to shove over you. So, yeah.
Yep. But also, with that block bet too, the amount that they had bet, the pot odds they'd be getting on that pot would be pretty good. But also, if you bet $5,000 and someone shoves over you at $20,000, they have the option there to get away if they need to.
Yeah. Wow. So we have Battle of the Blinds here. We have a min donk bet into this flop, and Joe Mama decides to get it in. Now, that's a pretty aggressive line considering Joe Mama is a pretty passive player. So what do you think Joe Mama has here?
Well, considering this, it's funny, we were just talking about them not getting it in, and now they're getting it in. But I'm fairly certain they're afraid of the draws here, and they've got a king. And wow, look at that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Yep.
That's exactly what I was thinking. But now, interesting to note here, Battle of the Blinds, Radman elects to just complete the small blind. Do you like that, considering the short stack is on the big blind?
You know what? It really depends for me on the player that I'm going up against. Look at this. This is interesting here. Okay, now Radman is basically committing a third of their stack on this 3-bet, so we have to assume Radman's going to be getting it all in on this flop. Oh.
Yeah, it should be a snap call for Radman. Unless you have Broadway, you probably might have Broadway here. And Broadway would be like face cards. Oh, queen, there we go.
Oh, look at that. An aggressive...
Wow.
Aggressive shove by Jersey Time in front there with the belly buster draw, and unfortunately Radman is eliminated. Good game, though, Radman.
Good game, Radman. And that's the classic example of stop and go, correct?
Correct, yep. What they did there is Jersey Time could have just gone all in there with that hand, but what they decided to do was just flat the 3-bet from Radman, just call it, and then I'm sure by the looks of it, they had decided to shove all in on any flop.
Right, and thus naming it stop and go. Yeah, That's correct. So going back to the Battle of the Blinds, you said you were determining whether or not you would do it based on the person in the big blind, correct?
Yeah, it really depends. Joe Mama, for how tight they've been, I would probably be looking to raise her more often than not in a blind versus blind situation. But if I have an aggressive opponent in the blinds with me, I may decide to just call in if I'm potentially expecting them to raise and maybe re-raise them. Or, even if I just have a bad hand, maybe something like 6-7 suited, I may still limp in my small blind if I'm looking to keep the pot down and increase my odds if I catch a draw on the flop.
There you go. Good analysis right there.
So, couple of different thoughts with it. What do you think there? Oh, we have an all in. What do you think of this could be now?
I think he's attacking the limpers for one, and we get a call by Jersey
Wow.
Time. This is really and a flat by Hate Losing. So I'd like to see a check down here, unless you're looking for value. But it looks like Jersey Time doesn't want that.
Yep. So Jersey Time's got jacks, and Jersey Time's running hot right now. Good game, Coco Moons.
Finished in 6th place. Great job.
Yep, down to 5 now. So from your looks at this final table so far, we're down to the last 5. Who are you putting your money on here?
I kind of like Ashley's game. She likes to mix it up a bit. She's not afraid to blast some chips around and do what she has to do. Jersey Time seems proficient in regards to different plays, like we saw the stop and go.
Mm-hmm.
And looks, Jersey Time donks out into a pretty dry flop with Jack 9, so taking the initiative. So I think it might go heads up with Ashley and Jersey Time. What do you think?
Well, you know what? It's actually funny because we're overlooking, as you all are watching this, VZ Money had taken down that big hand with kings when the Queen 3 had shoved on the Queen High flop. And basically since that, oh, look at this. I was going to say basically since then, VZ Money has been non-existent, and now
he was flying under the radar. Now he 3Xs it. Now, what do you think about 3Xing? A lot of people have different ideas about that. What's your opinion?
I think 3Xing is fine in the early stages, and even in the late stages here, it could be fine. But with how much is already out in the pot, usually you don't have to risk quite as much to accomplish the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
But early in the game, it's a little bit different because the blinds are so small and everybody has deep stacks in comparison to it. So you need to raise a little bigger to push out those weaker hands.
And so for the people that don't understand 3Xing, that just means raising it 3 times the big blind. So if the blinds are 1,500, you're raising 3 times, you're raising it to 4,500. So, yeah.
Yep.
So either limp by VZ Money. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm. And now the dynamic here is definitely interesting because, wow, look at that. Flops it.
Do you like that? He flops the flush. Do you really think he can get any value out of that if he does a check raise on that flop?
It's tough. It's tough to assume that this aggressive play. Ooh, look at this. Is this? Oh, I thought it was 3-way. Okay, so let's see if this Jack or King comes or a 10. Wow.
Jersey Time.
Jersey Time. Joe Mama, good game.
Not bad for 5th place. Great game. But Jersey Time is running hot. It is time in Jersey, it looks like.
Yep. And as far as the raising on the King High flop, it potentially could be good if you do it to, Jersey Time, who's an aggressive player. They may come over the top thinking you're weak, but a lot of the time that min re-raise is a real big sign of strength.
Right. It's kind of interesting. Sometimes when they min re-raise, I find it's really polarized. It's either air, because they think you have air, or you have a strong hand. It's never a medium hand. It's either strong or weak. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Focused. It's funny, again, I just talked about VZ Money. Now, since I've said that, they're up 30K and playing every pot.
So is VZ Money your dark horse or your horse for the win this tournament? Did it look like it?
You know what? Apparently it looks like they can change gears well if they had won that huge pot, had a dominating chip stack at the table, and then basically went non-existent, and now they're back in it and just chipped up another 30K. So it's what do you think they're going to do the rest of this time? I mean, what would you do if you had a big stack?
I would start opening up more in position and just playing the stacks accordingly, and really utilize my chip equity against the other players. And their player dynamics and tendencies. So, for example, Ashley and Jersey Time are pretty aggressive. I'd use that against them. And Hate Losing doesn't look. From the look of it, Hate Losing doesn't like to lose, so I'd use that against him. So So that's what I would be thinking about.
Look at this. Running good right now.
Yeah, running good, but running back is no action, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're actually a tight player or if now they're just getting cards. What do you think based on their play here?
I think it's a little bit of both, a little combination of both. It looks like he's 3xing button. Again, I don't like 3xing because just like what you said earlier, you're risking a little bit more to win that dead money, so to speak. But I like to raise a little bit less. It almost looks kind of obvious what you're doing, you know? When you're doing 3xing, it just, I don't know.
Well, I will say they are keeping it consistent with the 3x, so their hands will be, I would say, semi-disguised, but then, you know, in situations if they didn't have such a big chip stack, 3xing could commit you and get you into some tough spots with your chip stack. Like if Hate Losing were to 3x, they're going to be risking, you know, 20% of their stack on that raise.
Right. Definitely want to, wow, okay, let's see here. Quick bet by Jersey Time and a quick shove by Hate Losing. I don't like that play. I like, especially just to kind of induce Jersey Time to bet out more, given Jersey Time's aggressiveness. I like a flat there and just basically try to check call the flop and then maybe check raise the turn. What do you think?
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I agree with you on the play there, but now you see Hate Losing here is saying maybe you shouldn't bluff so much, and you know that's the first part of poker is understanding your opponent.
Right.
But now knowing your opponent's going to bluff, and he has the 8, which is, you know, to another ace coming if Jersey Time has an ace. You know, you got him dominated. So I think it's another spot, like you had spoke before, that probably could have gained some more chips without raising there.
Yeah, and also I don't like the fact that Hate Losing, and I'm not trying to knock anybody here, guys. We're all family, a community of poker players here on BetOnDrew.com. But what I would like to say to Hate Losing is not to tell Jersey Time that quit bluffing, because then you're basically letting him know that you understand what he's doing. You just basically keep it quiet, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they are giving away that, what I spoke before, that element of surprise, and I think that they probably could have played it different. I mean, I know personally, just from when I had first started playing poker and in my early years, we get excited when we see stuff like that. And to know that somebody's potentially bluffing or maybe they have the ace, you know, we let our emotions get to us. And I'm sure half the time, you know, I've done it myself, so I know that we just get excited and end up pushing in those big hands where we miss a little bit of opportunity to get more chips.
Yeah, case in point, the hand prior, Ashley and Jersey were in a hand on the flop, Ashley flop top 2, and elected to min raise. I really think Ashley should have played the position better, just flatted Jersey Time, and elect to have Jersey Time hang himself a little bit more and bet out into the turn. But,
exactly, and as you can see, you know, the min raise has been pretty on. Everybody who's doing it is super strong, and now everybody's folding to it. So maybe I think everyone should, if they could mix their game up a little bit here, they could probably throw people off. It sounds like everyone's almost showing and telling each other what they have in a sense.
Yeah, in a sense of camaraderie, it almost looks like, because everybody's a BOD family members. But yeah, I agree. I definitely would change gears. If you're gonna show, at least try to use that to your advantage. If you're gonna do that, just kind of switch it up, not try to be so consistent.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a lot of fun to watch though, and everybody who's played, you know, these last 4 here, and whoever ends up winning it, everybody's played really well, and it's been exciting to watch. So, you know, we appreciate that, guys.
Definitely, we got a limp on the button and a three-way action on the flop, and looks like actually dropped out. VZ Money betting out onto the river. He shows
2 pair
on the river,
and it looks like VZ Money has taken a nice lead here. They have a 2-1 chip lead on Ashley now, and we have two semi-short stacks, about 20 blind stacks, a little less for Jersey. So we'll see how.
Yeah, sometimes it's the quiet guys you have to watch out for, no?
Oh, yeah.
We were both fixated on Jersey and Ashley, and VZ was slowly accumulating chips, it looked like. Throw reaction here. We got Hate Losing on the button. We got a bet into the flop of min bet into a kind of a draw heavy flop. Let's see if VZ shows.
Oh,
Shows
there it
again.
is.
There it is. That's kind of funny. He's actually giving somebody odds to call a flush draw, which I find that kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to do that there. Maybe they were trying to keep the pot down, or maybe entice a shove. Not really sure, but yeah, I think definitely if somebody had some draws there, they're inviting.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because right now it seems like they're betting strong when strong and betting somewhat weak when they're feeling kind of vulnerable, which is interesting. 'Cause that's usually the standard default for newer players. They bet when they have it strongly, and then, that's what it looks like to me.
I'm waiting here for either the two big hands that clash because we've been seeing a lot of flops here. Everybody's playing, which is nice. It's not a shove fest. Everyone understands that.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little dynamic that's going on the table too.
Yeah. Now, if you're the short stack, hate losing, what would you be doing? What's your thought process?
Well, here with about what would that be? It's a little over 10 big blinds, 8 for with about their stack, about 15 big blinds. I'm looking to play tight aggressive. If I get a big hand, I'm going to be looking to get it in, and I don't want to be playing any multi-way pots. I'd like to be playing isolated against just one other player.
I agree. I would definitely be shoving over any opens with a hand that it should be dominating the opening ranges of other people. Especially with the loose guys, Jersey and Ashley. Interesting situation here. We get a a completion of small blind from Ashley, and then she leads out on a 9-7-3 rainbow. Looks like with a queen 10, and shows. She's just basically playing her stack. It looks like.
Yeah, it's a nice lead out there to that stack, and even if they were to have lost to Hate Losing, they're still going to be in roughly second place. But here we go. Oh, again, probably show an ace. Yep. So
yeah,
Hate Losing there.
She doesn't want to lose. It looks like.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully, Hate Losing. It looks like their objective right now is definitely to double up and to not let anyone draw cheap. So when they have it, they're getting it in, and they're staying alive. So let's see if they can mount a comeback.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think of VZ Money's min betting at Jersey time here? Did you see that last hand?
Yeah, I think VZ looks like he knows that Jersey time pretty much gives up on the river if Jersey doesn't have it, and so it's almost like you can min bet every street without any cards, knowing that Jersey should be giving up on the river most of the time.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Considering how aggressive Jersey time's been, I'm a bit surprised that they're not getting their chips in a little bit more now with all of what's going on and the min betting and whatnot. Especially if they're on a draw, we've seen they're capable of doing a play like that.
Yeah, I think what it is, sometimes players get excited when they have a big stack, so they start doing more. But as soon as their stack starts to diminish a little bit, they start to quiet down a bit.
Right.
Your thoughts on that?
I think that's pretty spot on, and it's shining through on Jersey time's play here as we have an all-in at a decent pot here, so about 32K. And the jack is folded, so we have to assume Hate Losing had a 3. Yep.
Yeah, I was exactly say the same thing, but I didn't expect the 6 though.
Yeah, no.
I thought the 3, but not the 6. But again, I really don't like that bet. What do you think about that river shove over after the lead?
Well, again, all due respect to Hate Losing, I think it's a little bit of an excitement raise now. If you had seen Ashley calling off a lot of big raises like that, then maybe you can get some value out of that bet, but probably could have raised and got a few more chips out of Ashley on that river. Maybe raised to like $8,000 or something like that.
Because you get a curiosity call, I think, from Ashley a lot. Because she does have a hand to call, in a sense.
Definitely. But again, Hate Losing, they may have thought that Ashley was going to stack them there with that bet, and it could have potentially been a pretty rewarding.
Yeah, that's true. You never know. But as we commentate, Hate Losing's still around. So
yeah, nice job. Keep it going.
Okay, what do you think? Air or a diamond draw?
Diamond draw is my guess here. Oh.
Protect. Yeah. Okay.
Fair. Both of us are wrong. Maybe we need to get new commentators here,
yeah,
huh?
there we go. I think Norman Chad is on line 3. You want to jump in? Is that okay? Norman Chad wants to commentate now.
Yep. Perfect. I have Lon McCarron right here.
Oh, cool. Right on. Okay. Let's see. A jack? Yep, a jack. That's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's Hate Losing really wants to. I don't know. I'll try to get more value if I'm Hate Losing. I just don't know.
You know what? Look, I think, and now we've both been in the poker game for a little while, I think it might be safe to say Hate Losing has probably been dealt some bad beats before and is really trying to avoid that happening again, it seems like.
You know what? That was kind of scary. I was about to say that, actually, too. I was going to say, he's playing the kind of poker that seemed like he'd had bad beats before, and you actually said that, which is kind of scary. Yes, folks, we do have the same name. We're both named John, and we have Filipino blood in us, but we are miles apart. He's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast, so maybe brother from another mother kind of thing, right?
Yeah, well, that's for sure, though. That's definite.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Hate Losing on the button. And I don't know, did he limp this button?
Yeah, like Hate Losing limped the button here. This is interesting here now. Got the king. Oh, wow, look at that.
Wow, I think Ashley could got more value out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely think so, especially with VZ being that strong. But you know what? It is to be noted that VZ just flatted there. I think a lot of players might have tried to raise knowing they had that 6. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think that's true. And I think that also speaks volumes of VZ's game. He seemed pretty competent and pretty aware of, if he raises and somebody goes over the top, he's going to lose a lot. But if he just calls there, he basically protects his showdown value there.
Right.
That's spot on.
And so far, with the direction that this is going here, it looks like VZ is slowly pulling away. And we got a call here now. Let's see. Is there a queen? Nope. Okay, so Jersey time doubles up, but VZ takes a very small hit to their stack.
Exactly.
What do you think about that call with King Queen there?
I like it. Jersey time can be doing that with a lot of hands. Ace King is definitely one of the fewer hands I would see Jersey time come up with that kind of shove.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like that call with King Queen. I think it was suited too, right? It was suited.
Was it suited? I didn't notice, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was suited clubs, but either way, suited or not suited, I like that call because you have a lot of chips to call off there. I mean, you have a lot of chips to call and not really get hurt, as you were saying.
Right.
And a large part of that is because BZ is taking a lot of small ball approach and really slowly accumulating chips to do that kind of stuff. To call with King Queen suited and see a flip, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree with you. The amount that VZ stack that they were risking there in order to take out an aggressive player is, it's well worth it in that spot.
Oh yeah. I'm a little puzzled here. Did VZ raise pre-flop here against Hate Losing?
I think it was a
limp pot?
I think VZ had min raised.
Okay.
So now here we got a limp pot between our two big stacks.
Yeah, that could be air. I don't see a jack there, I don't think. But I was going to say, because that with VZ, I think I'll apply a little bit more pressure against Hate Losing, because I don't think Hate Losing is going to call a lot, because it seems like he's somewhat passive. And when you're blind versus blind with your stack like that, I don't mind putting a little bit more pressure on Hate Losing. What do you think?
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. I think Hate Losing, when I have chips, is someone that I'm going to look to put a little bit more pressure on them and definitely put them to the test, considering they've been, semi-tight. They're also in a tough spot, too, being short-stacked against some big stacks and some aggressive players. So, I think for considering their situation, they're playing pretty well.
Yeah, I agree.
So now the key is here. I mean, it looks like it's obvious that Ashley and VZ might be going for it, but you think Jersey and Hate Losing still have a pretty good shot to come back here?
I think so. I'm not a big fan of what Hate Losing is doing, to be honest. But I think, given what's been going on, it could be a chance. Just don't like the limp calls and overshoved with strong hands, but there could be a chance. If I were to pick who'd bust out first, I would think Hate Losing would go out first, and then Joji Time might follow. But we never know. We'll see.
Yep, let's see. Okay. So there we go. Very friendly table, as you can see. Everybody more than happy to show their hands, which is fine, Mm-hmm. Friendly game of poker, right? Where those are close to non-existent nowadays, I think.
I think so. Well, as we said that. Yeah, so...
That is quite
Hate Losing apparently doesn't like donkeys either, huh? Okay.
Okay.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all...
Y'all ready for this?